On the southeast coast of India is the state of Tamil Nadu. Here, a cuisine has evolved over centuries that is one of the healthiest and most nutritious in the world. It's high in protein, very little oil is used, and steaming is a favorite way of cooking. At its heart is rice, not only the basis of 1,000 recipes, but a fundamental part of religious and social life. Showered on brides as a universal blessing, it is the ancient symbol of fertility here. Tamil Nadu's capital is Madras, known variously as the first city of the empire and the queen of the Coromandel coast. For many people, it's better known for lending its name to a fiery concoction of something that isn't actually used here, Madras curry powder. Madras' 6 million strong workforce dominates the Tamil Nadu economy. To Indians, the city is known as a major manufacturing centre and as a home to India's largest film industry. In the heart of the city, markets like this one at Panagal offer a brilliant range of first-class fruit and vegetables, many of them familiar to us all.
Looking at all these fresh vegetables makes me want to gobble them up right away. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to cook them. I'm going to make a vegetable kurma. And it's very simple. The vegetables are just boiled, or you can actually steam them, and then they are dressed with an absolutely wonderful dressing. There's no oil in it. All these are cut into small chips. Carrots, which are 4 ounces, green beans 4 ounces, potatoes 4 ounces, aubergine 4 ounces, and shelled peas. And they're going to go into 8 fluid ounces of water. Everything goes in. I'm going to get everything in here. I'm going to bring this to the boil and cover it and let it cook for just about 3 to 4 minutes. And while it cooks, I'm going to make this absolutely delicious sauce. This requires 2 ounces of coconut, 4 green chilies which have been cut, and all this goes into a blender with about 5 fluid ounces of water. And I'm going to also put into it 2 tablespoons of white poppy seeds and about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to put the lid on and let the blender whirl. And this paste now goes into the vegetables. Mix it up. And after it's cooked for 5 minutes, in go the tomatoes. These are 3 chopped tomatoes and a tablespoon of yogurt. In it goes, and about 1 teaspoon of garam masala. All this is going to be mixed in, and it'll cook for another 5 minutes until the tomatoes have melted into the sauce. And now all that is left to do is to serve it. It's absolutely wonderful with rice. Rice soaks up all the good juices of the kurma. And what I'm going to do is garnish it with just a little bit of green coriander.
Most of India can be divided into wheat-eating and rice-eating areas. Tamil Nadu is decidedly rice-eating. Rice lies at the heart of the economy and the culture. The paddy fields of Tamil Nadu are emerald green and lush, and just as labor-intensive as they were centuries ago. In other parts of India and the world, when the rice is harvested, it is simply dried, husked and hulled, but not in South India. Here it is treated in a very special way, using a method that goes back 2,000 years. Once the rice is harvested, it's dried for at least a month. Then it's threshed by hand.
After the rice is threshed, it needs to soak for about a day in these large tanks of water. And then it's taken to a big pot, and we do the very important process, which is parboiling.
The rice is boiled for just 3 minutes, after which it's quickly removed and spread out in the sun to dry, before it is hulled and husked by machine. The parboiling process, so cleverly discovered by ancient Indians, has many benefits. The most important one being that the vitamin B in the bran and germ are locked into the grains, thus preventing malnutrition. Here in a village near Madras, the same parboiled rice is going to feed thousands of factory workers. These caterers are preparing the much-loved coconut rice. The rice is boiled until it's tender and then drained.
To make the coconut mixture, into very hot oil goes a lot of red chilies, the split peas called chana dal, and urad dal. Also mustard seeds, curry leaves, asafoetida powder, salt, and lots of coconut, freshly grated. You have to stir this till it is nice and brown. Once the coconut mixture has been nicely browned, all you have to do is add it to the rice and mix, mix, and mix. Now you've just seen coconut rice being made. I'm going to show you what goes with it. Two dishes. One is sambar, or split peas with shallots. This is a dish that South Indians here eat every day, sometimes 3 times a day. It's absolutely delicious. To make it, you take 16 fluid ounces of boiling water, and into it you put 4 ounces of tur dal, which is a split pea. In it goes. Then you cover it, bring it to the boil, and let it simmer gently for about 45 minutes until it's done. Meanwhile, you take a wok and put some oil in it, just a little bit, and into it you put about 1 green chili that's been slit, and shallots, lots of shallots, as many as you like actually, and you stir them around. Now what you're looking for is a nice glazed quality. This will take a little while. After the split peas have cooked for 45 minutes, or until they're tender, after that, you just sort of mash them like this with the back of a spoon. And then you put into it the very crucial spice mixture called sambar powder. There are 3 tablespoons of sambar powder here. And of course, this has things like urad dal, it's a split pea, it has coriander seeds, it has fenugreek seeds, it has mustard seeds. All these are roasted and ground. Now, in they go. Also, I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of tamarind paste. In that goes. About ½ teaspoon of turmeric powder, and about 2 to 3 teaspoons of salt, whatever you like. Then you mix it all up. Add water now. This is about 3/4 pint of water. And of course, the shallots that you cooked. In they go, all of them. Now you bring this to the boil and you let it cook on a medium flame for about 10 minutes. Now I'm going to show you how to finish off the dish. There's a little bit of oil in this frying pan. Into it go ½ teaspoon mustard seeds. They're going to be spluttering, so watch out. A few curry leaves. Stir once and put it into the sambar. And that's all, except for one last garnish, which is fresh green coriander, which I sprinkle over the top. That's it. Sambar or split peas with shallots. Now I'm going to show you a very quick, simple stir-fried cabbage. You can make it just with cabbage or cabbage and carrots, as I've done here. All right, so into the wok, you put a tiny amount of oil. Into the oil goes the split pea, chana dal, and some urad dal, another split pea, and some mustard seeds, about 1.5 teaspoons, and fresh curry leaves. In they go. Stir this around a bit. And some green chilies also, as many as you like. I have 3 or 4, which I've cut up. So you have to stir and fry the spices. The split peas have to turn a nice reddish color. They have to cook through. And then when that is done, then in goes the cabbage and carrot mixture. In it goes. Stir it about, toss it about, Put in about a teaspoon of salt. Mix it up. This is really very, very quick. Now you've got to get it to wilt. So you don't need water really. I'm just going to cover it, turn the heat down, and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. Now it's very nicely wilted. I'm just going to put in some fresh coconut, as much as you like. Put it in, stir it up together, and that's all there is to it. Stir-fried cabbage and carrots.
3 creations from Tamil Nadu: sambar with shallots, coconut rice, and a cabbage and carrot stir-fry. These enthusiastic youngsters are trainees in Bharatanatyam, a classical dance form that tells ancient religious stories. Today, students from all over India, indeed from all over the world, come to study this energetic and graceful dance under famous gurus. But until the 1930s, Bharatanatyam was hidden, the preserve of a small limited group of musicians and female dancers who performed their ritual dances inside the magnificent temples that richly adorn Tamil Nadu. Kanchipuram, 50 miles from Madras, is known as the golden town of 1,000 temples. At the height of its glory, it was the capital of the Pallava dynasty, but almost all that's left now are the temples. For devotees of Lord Shiva, god of destruction, this temple, Ikambareshwarar, is a very special place of pilgrimage, for in its central courtyard grows a very ancient tree. It's reputed to have 4 different types of mangoes, long considered symbols of fertility. Under this remarkable tree, Shiva and his consort Parvati are said to have been married. And couples who don't have children come here to pray for a child. But not only pilgrims come to wonder at the beauty of Kanchipuram. I met up with someone who has a great love of both the temples and the cuisine of Tamil Nadu. Raza Muhammad, a London restaurateur. Inside, the temple is an ethereal place, filled with carvings of gods and goddesses. So this is the hall of 1,000 pillars. It's beautiful.
It's magnificent. I just love the way the pillars have been carved. It's stunning.
This is such a great place of pilgrimage. Hindus from all over India try and come here once in their lifetimes. The pillar carvings are narrative stories in themselves, featuring gods in all their manifestations. The towering steeples or gopurams were once used as landmarks by pilgrims. Lights on top would guide them to the temples at night.
Come, Madhur, come get blessed. Oh, house.
Okay. Oh my God, oh my God. Okay, thank you.
Kanchipuram is known as much for its temples as its silks. These silks, rich, full-bodied and delicately graced with gold borders, are some of the finest produced in India. Raw silk thread is rinsed, dried and then cooked in boiling dye. The resulting colors are luminous.
Just look at these beautiful homes. This is where all the weavers live, and they keep their looms in their homes, and this is where they weave all the silk saris.
What a wonderful industry.
This is a true cottage industry with its own workers' cooperative. The beautiful silk saris produced on these looms, brilliant with gold thread and always recognizable by their traditional motifs, are among the most sought after in the world. Any Indian bride would surely want one of these saris for her trousseau. The glorious temples and the magnificent silk saris are part of Tamil Nadu's ancient heritage. But in Madras, There's a pleasure awaiting food lovers of a more recent invention. It's fast food of a unique variety and is prepared and served in what can only be described as a temple to food. Sarvana Bhavan is a vast emporium that can serve 4,000 people a day. 300 staff work in 2 shifts from 6 in the morning until 10 at night. Its kitchens are vast halls where the most mouth-watering South Indian vegetarian food is prepared. But there's one thing that makes Sarvana Bhavan particularly famous: the dosa. These light, airy pancakes are made out of a rice and urad dal batter. The main ingredients are soaked and ground and then combined and left to ferment overnight. This makes the batter more digestible and faster to cook. The really difficult bit comes in actually spreading out the dosa batter. It's an art form and not one that a young chef from London finds easy to imitate.
Oh my God, I have messed this one up.
South Indian coffee is yet another specialty that takes endless practice to perfect. Will Raza have more success in this department? By lunchtime, the huge dining room is full. Meals are always served on banana leaves. And the rice, vegetables, sambar, chutneys, yogurt and pickles, as well as delicious sweets, just keep coming.
Rosa, you're such a mess. What did you do?
I was doing my coffee act.
Well, just don't make any more coffee,
No,
please.
it's okay. Have some of my dosa.
You made it?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'll take some.
Right. As I would always say, a dosa a day helps you work less than play.
Don't make any more.
This is the splendid ancestral home of a prominent Chettiar family. It was built in 1928 on this absolutely wonderful location, right where the Adyar River and the Bay of Bengal meet.
And there are about 127 servants here, and only 2 people live here. It's rather like English aristocracy, isn't it?
Inside the palace, the expensive European trappings mimic those of the colonial power at the time, the English.
Look at the floors. They are wonderful marble, which has come specially from Italy. And the ceilings, this is all Burma teak, which has been carved on the spot by carpenters who came all the way from Chettinad. And it's quite interesting, you know, the men of this Chettiar community, they didn't work here. They went out to work in places like Indonesia and Malaysia and Burma. And it's quite natural that they should have fallen in love with Burma teak and brought it here and filled their palaces with it.
The Chettiars, once a money-lending and trading community, are a canny lot who generally marry first cousins, ensuring that an individual family's wealth is not lost when a daughter marries. This palace was used as a venue for visiting foreign royalty in its heyday. And of course, this gave the Chettiar family who live here the chance to show off their wonderful cuisine. Their wealth allows them the privilege of growing and buying the finest ingredients. Chettinad food contains some of the most exquisite meat, chicken and fish dishes in the region.
The dish that I'm going to make for you now is Chettinad pepper chicken. And it happens to be a dish that Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip ate when they came to this palace. I'm going to make it for you in this absolutely marvelous setting on a terrace with the sun setting. Nothing could be nicer. Now let me show you all the ingredients that go into it. It's called Chettinad pepper chicken. It's got 2 different kinds of peppers in it, red pepper and black pepper. Then it has turmeric, it has cardamom pods, it has cumin seeds, fennel seeds, of course salt, poppy seeds, bay leaves, garlic, cinnamon, coriander seeds, ginger, and cloves, and urad dal, which is not really a spice, it's a lentil, but here in Tamil Nadu it's used as a spice. Now I'm going to show you how to put all this together. You have to make a spice paste first, and for that some spices need to be lightly roasted. So in this pan there is very little oil, and I'm going to put into it a tablespoon and a half of cumin seeds, about 8 to 10 red chilies, 3 tablespoons coriander seeds. Oh, I'll give it a bit of a stir, I think. Teaspoon and a half of poppy seeds, a teaspoon or so of fennel seeds, a teaspoon and a half of black peppercorns, and I'm going to stir it around. When it's roasted, I'm beginning to smell it. I'm going to take this and use a spoon and put it in a clean spice grinder or coffee grinder, like so. And then you turn the machine on. Then, when these spices are ground, I'm going to take them all out. Oops! Push them back in, like that, and put them in a liquidizer. And into this goes a teaspoon and a half of ginger, 5 or 6 cloves of garlic, about half teaspoon turmeric, and about 1.5 teaspoons salt. Now this needs a little water. So 3 tablespoons or more, whatever you need to blend this. In it goes. Now you might need to add a little bit more water. Blenders are very different. You need a fine paste. So once it's done, the spice paste is going to look like this, greeny brown fine paste, which is excellent for cooking the chicken. Now I'm going to start cooking. I'm anxious to start immediately. So into this oil, which is about 5 tablespoons of oil, go a bay leaf, a little cinnamon, some cardamom pods and some cloves, and a few fennel seeds, and a few of those urad dal pieces, the lentils. Stir them around very briefly like so. Put in the curry leaves, fresh curry leaves, which you find over here. They're harder to find in Europe, but you do get them a lot over here. And then in go onions. Lots of onions, which I'm going to fry. They're 2 medium-sized onions. And you fry them until they're nice and brown. Do them on high heat because you really want them nice and brown. I'm ready for the next stage, which is to put in tomatoes. And they too need to be fried. When the tomatoes have turned a little soft, I'm going to put in that wonderful spice paste that I made. That needs to be fried. All of it, all this good paste. This is what's going to give the flavor to the dish. In it goes. When the spice paste is nicely fried, in goes a kilo of chicken pieces. Now make sure you see how my pieces are quite small, they're not big. And again, the ideal pieces to use are thighs, cut into 2 pieces each, or legs. They just work better, but if you like breast, you can use breast. Now, stir it around like this. And then you have to put water to cover. Then you bring it to the boil, cover it, and you let it cook. So you let it cook for 25 minutes until it's done, and then you boil down the sauce, and this is what it looks like when it's all finished. Chettinad pepper chicken, fit for the queen.
Tamil Nadu has a long coastline, and fishing is an important living for thousands of people. The fish caught in the waters of the Bay of Bengal contribute some superb dishes to the Tamil repertoire. I'm going to show you how to make an unusual local delicacy, shredded shark.
The fishermen are coming in with their catch of the day. Now the seas here are filled with sharks, and what the people enjoy eating are young sharks, and that's exactly what I'm going to cook for you today, Jaws Junior, cooked with spices and green coriander. This is a pound of young shark steaks that have been skinned, and they're going to go into water that is simmering. It's a pint and 3/4 of water. And if you don't get this shark, you can use swordfish, you can use tuna, just skin it first. Also into the water goes a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of turmeric. Now I'm going to just stir this lightly and then let it cook very gently for 10 or 15 minutes. Into 5 tablespoons of oil, I'm going to put in about an inch piece of cinnamon broken up and about a half teaspoon of fennel seeds. Give this a little stir and then put in about 5 ounces of chopped onions. these need to be stirred until they are lightly browned. Now the onions are very nice and golden, and I'm going to put in about 1.5 inches of ginger that's been very finely grated, about 4 or 5 hot green chilies which are chopped, and 5 cloves of garlic which have been chopped finely. And I'm going to stir this around as well until it is all softened. Now here are the shark steaks that have cooled a bit by now. I'm going to break off a piece and shred it like this. You have to really pinch little shreds off like that. And here is some that has already been shredded, and what I'm going to do is put it all in here with the onions and the ginger, and I'm going to put in also about 1 teaspoon of salt. Now this has to be stirred and fried on a medium flame for about 10 or 15 minutes. Now, this is what it looks like when it's done after 15 minutes. It should be nice and dry. I'll add 4 ounces of grated fresh coconut, about 20 curry leaves, and about 2 to 3 tablespoons of chopped green coriander, and give it a good stir. And then the last thing that's left to do is to add a little bit of lime juice and give it another stir. And now it's ready to be served.
For the people of Madras, the evening means a trip to Marina Beach, the widest in all India, and a place where they can relax, play, and enjoy delicious snack foods as the sun sets. The air is heavy with the smell of myriad different foods cooking. What finer way to end the day in Tamil Nadu?